Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know, what's your favorite memory with your pet? And what was the most challenging moment you faced together? The early morning sun struggled to break through the thick blanket of smoke and dust that hung heavy over Harborview, a quaint fishing town nestled along the rugged cliffs of the Pacific Northwest. The peaceful community, known for its tight-knit residents and breathtaking ocean views, was now unrecognizable. A landscape torn apart by the devastating earthquake that had struck just hours before. Buildings lay shattered like fragile glass, streets cracked open like ancient scars, and the cries of survivors echoed through the debris-laden air. Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know, what's your favorite memory with your pet? And what was the most challenging moment you faced together? Amidst the turmoil, a figure moved swiftly and purposefully through the wreckage. Marcus Hayes, a decorated Navy SEAL recently retired from active duty, knelt beside a collapsed storefront, his hands carefully probing beneath the rubble. His sharp eyes scanned every crevice, every shadow, searching for any sign of life. Beside him, Rex, his loyal K9 partner, paced anxiously, ears perked and nose twitching as if sensing the urgency of the moment. Harborview had always been Marcus's sanctuary, the place he planned to call home after years of service overseas. Its rocky cliffs and salt-kissed air held a promise of peace he'd long sought. But now, the town he loved was in ruins, and the people he'd hoped to protect were trapped beneath the destruction. The earthquake, a massive 7.8 magnitude tremor, had struck without warning just before dawn, ripping through the coastal town with terrifying force. The shaking had lasted nearly a full minute, toppling centuries-old buildings, severing power lines, and triggering landslides down the cliffside. The fishing docks, once bustling with early morning activity, were now a tangle of splintered wood and overturned boats. The once clear harbor waters churned with debris, reflecting the chaos above. Marcus's military training kicked in immediately after the quake subsided. His first instinct was to search for survivors, to do whatever it took to save lives. His years as a Navy SEAL had taught him how to remain calm in the face of catastrophe, how to navigate treacherous terrain and think strategically under pressure. But this was different. This was his home, and every fractured building and distorted street corner carried memories of a life he wanted to build anew. As he moved through the wreckage, Marcus's thoughts briefly flickered to the other residents of Harborview, families he'd met at the local market, the fishermen who greeted him with nods of respect, the children who played near the cliffs. Each one now at risk, buried under the rubble, or stranded in homes that could collapse at any moment. "Rex," Marcus whispered, his voice steady despite the pounding of his own heart. The German shepherd's tail wagged slowly, but his eyes remained alert, scanning the debris for any movement. The bond between man and dog was unspoken, but undeniable. A partnership forged through countless missions, a loyalty that transcended words. The town's narrow streets, once lined with colorful shops and cozy cafes, were now a maze of hazards. Twisted metal, shattered glass, and fallen power lines blocked the way. Marcus navigated carefully, his boots crunching over broken concrete as he followed faint cries for help. The air was thick with dust and the acrid scent of gas leaks, warning of potential explosions. Through the haze, the distant sound of sirens mingled with the cries of survivors, creating a haunting symphony of destruction and hope. Rescue teams from nearby cities were already arriving, their vehicles weaving cautiously through the debris as they set up triage stations and began organizing search efforts. Despite their quick response, the scale of the disaster was overwhelming. Marcus paused near a collapsed two-story building, its facade crumbled into a pile of rubble. From within, a faint voice called out, a child's frightened plea for help. Without hesitation, Marcus began clearing debris, his hands steady as he moved rocks and beams aside. Rex sat nearby, alert and ready to assist, his keen senses tuned to the sounds of life beneath the wreckage. The community of Harborview, known for its resilience and spirit, was beginning to rally even in these first devastating hours. Neighbors helped neighbors, sharing blankets and water, offering words of comfort amid the chaos. But the earthquake had left a wound far deeper than the cracked pavement, a test of endurance and faith for every soul caught in its path. Marcus's mission was clear: find survivors, provide aid, and do not stop until every last person was safe. The weight of the responsibility pressed heavily on his shoulders, but he welcomed it. This was his chance to serve once more, not on distant battlefields, but here at home, among the people he had come to love. As he worked, Marcus caught sight of the Harborview lighthouse standing stubbornly against the gray sky, its beam cutting through the smoky air. It was a symbol of hope, a beacon guiding lost souls through the darkness. Just as the lighthouse endured storms and tempests, so too would Harborview rise again from this disaster. The town's rugged cliffs loomed ominously, reminders of nature's power and unpredictability. Yet, they also offered shelter and vantage points for rescue teams coordinating their efforts. Marcus knew the terrain well, having explored these cliffs on countless hikes and fishing trips. Now, those familiar paths were lifelines for survival. Throughout the morning, Marcus and Rex moved tirelessly from site to site, responding to calls for help, lending strength to those trapped and frightened. Their presence became a source of comfort, a reminder that no one was alone in the face of tragedy. Residents who caught sight of the duo paused, their faces etched with gratitude and tears. Within the chaos, Marcus found moments of quiet determination. He remembered the faces of his fellow SEALs, the countless missions that had tested his resolve. This was his final mission, not for country or command, but for community and home. The stakes could not have been higher. As the sun climbed higher, casting a pale light over Harborview's shattered streets, the work of rescue and recovery was only just beginning. Marcus's search for survivors was far from over, and the bond with Rex remained unbreakable, a partnership forged in adversity and fueled by hope. In this fractured town, where the line between despair and hope blurred with every heartbeat, Marcus Hayes and his loyal dog Rex stood as living proof that courage and compassion could shine brightest in the darkest hours. Harborview's story was just beginning, and the journey to reclaim its spirit would demand every ounce of strength they had to give. The sun had climbed higher over Harborview, casting long shadows across the fractured streets, but the devastation remained stark and unyielding. Among the swirling chaos of emergency responders and frantic residents, Marcus Hayes moved with a calm precision, born of years in the Navy SEALs. His gaze was sharp, his every action deliberate. Yet beneath the surface lay a man grappling with the weight of responsibility and hope. Marcus was no stranger to high-stakes situations. His decorated military career had taken him from the deserts of the Middle East to the jungles of Southeast Asia, missions that demanded unwavering focus and unbreakable will. Yet nothing had prepared him for this. Standing amidst the ruins of Harborview, a town he had chosen for retirement, now shattered by nature's fury, he paused briefly beside a fallen street lamp, pulling his jacket tighter against the cool morning breeze that carried the scent of salt and smoke. Rex, his German shepherd and trusted canine partner, sat alert at his side, ears twitching at every distant sound. Their bond was more than professional. It was a partnership forged through countless missions, lives saved, and dangers faced together. Rex was more than a dog. He was a lifeline. As Marcus resumed his search, His thoughts drifted to the future he had envisioned in Harborview. After years of relentless duty, he had planned to settle into a quieter life here, the rugged coastline offering solace and a chance to heal. The quaint fishing village, with its weathered docks and close-knit community, had welcomed him with open arms. But now, the promise of peace was overshadowed by the urgent need to protect and rebuild. Nearby, the sound of hurried footsteps drew Marcus's attention. Dr. Elena Cruz emerged from a makeshift medical tent, her face flushed from exertion and worry. A veterinarian by profession, Elena had quickly become a pillar of support for the town's rescue efforts, especially when it came to the animals displaced and endangered by the earthquake. She carried a sturdy kit filled with medical supplies, her hands steady despite the chaos around her. "Elena." Marcus greeted her with a nod, sensing the familiar determination in her eyes. "How's it looking out there?" She wiped a strand of damp hair from her face. "Overwhelming, but we're managing. The animals need help just as much as the people. Some of the injured are strays caught in the rubble, or frightened pets separated from their owners." Her voice was calm but edged with urgency. "I could use your help coordinating efforts to find and treat them." Marcus nodded thoughtfully. "Rex and I can assist. He's trained for search and rescue, and his presence might help calm some of the animals." He glanced down at his partner, who gave a soft bark in acknowledgement. As they moved together through the town, Marcus shared stories of Rex's past missions, how the dog's keen senses and unwavering loyalty had saved lives in combat zones. Elena listened intently, her respect for the bond between man and dog growing with every word. The two formed an unspoken alliance, united by a common purpose to protect all those affected by the disaster. The morning wore on, and the scale of the tragedy became ever clearer. Among the cracked facades and twisted metal, Marcus caught glimpses of the town's residents. Some helping neighbors dig through debris, others huddled together in shock and disbelief. The community's resilience shone through the destruction, a testament to the spirit that had bound Harborview for generations. In the midst of this, another figure moved with purpose. Liam Foster, a local journalist known for his keen eye and compassionate storytelling. He navigated the streets with a camera slung over his shoulder, capturing raw and unfiltered moments of the disaster's aftermath. His footage was not just documentation, it was a lifeline to the outside world, a way to bring attention and aid to Harborview's plight. Liam spotted Marcus and Elena and approached, his voice steady despite the urgency in his eyes. "Marcus, Elena, mind if I walk with you for a bit? I want to tell your story, share what's happening here." His camera clicked softly as he filmed the two moving through the wreckage. Marcus glanced at Elena, who nodded slightly. "We could use the help. The more people who know what's happening here, the better." Marcus's voice held a quiet resolve, the kind that inspired confidence amidst uncertainty. As the trio moved forward, Marcus reflected on the journey that had brought him here. The transition from elite soldier to civilian had been challenging, but Harborview had offered a fresh start, a place to rebuild not just the town, but himself. The earthquake had thrown that future into question, yet it also rekindled a deeper sense of purpose. Elena spoke softly as they passed a group of volunteers unloading supplies. "I've spent years working with animals, but nothing prepares you for a disaster like this. The fear, the chaos, it's overwhelming. But seeing everyone come together, helping each other, gives me hope." Marcus nodded. "It's the same with the people. We're all connected here, and in moments like this, that connection is what keeps us going." He patted Rex's head gently. "And having Rex by my side reminds me that loyalty and courage come in many forms. Liam continued filming, capturing the expressions of determination and exhaustion etched on their faces. His role was clear: to tell the story of Harborview's struggle and resilience, to bring attention to the ongoing search and rescue efforts, and to shine a light on the quiet heroes like Marcus, Elena, and Rex. As they approached a collapsed community center, Marcus's thoughts turned inward. The building had been a gathering place for locals, a hub of warmth and laughter before the quake. Now, it lay in ruins, a symbol of all that was lost, but also a site where hope might still be found. Elena knelt beside a small, trembling dog, cowering beneath a broken beam. With practiced care, she coaxed the animal into her arms, murmuring soothing words. Marcus watched the scene, reminded once again of the delicate balance between vulnerability and strength. "We'll get through this," he said quietly. "Together." The day stretched on, filled with moments of triumph and heartbreak. Marcus's experience and leadership became invaluable as he coordinated with rescue teams, guiding them to areas where survivors and animals were most likely trapped. Elena's expertise ensured that injured animals received immediate care, while Liam's footage spread across social media, drawing volunteers and resources from beyond Harborview. Through it all, the bond between Marcus and Rex remained unshaken. The dog's instincts and training were a beacon amid the chaos, helping to locate survivors and offering comfort to those in distress. Their partnership was a reminder that even in the darkest times, loyalty and courage could forge a path forward. As dusk approached, Marcus took a moment to survey the town from a vantage point atop a nearby hill. Harborview lay battered but unbroken beneath him, its streets alive with the sounds of rescue and rebuilding. The journey ahead would be long and arduous, but with allies like Elena and Liam, and the steadfast companionship of Rex, Marcus felt a renewed sense of purpose. This was more than a mission. It was a commitment to a community, a promise to protect and heal the place he now called home. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the shattered town, Marcus Hayes prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead, determined to restore hope where it was needed most. The afternoon sun cast long shadows over Harborview, the quiet calm of the day belying the tension that gripped the shattered town. Marcus Hayes moved with measured urgency through the debris-strewn streets. His instincts honed from years in the Navy SEALs, alert to every danger hidden beneath the ruins. The once familiar landscape was now a treacherous maze of fallen beams, cracked concrete, and unstable structures. Each step carried the risk of further collapse, yet Marcus pressed on, driven by the faint hope that survivors still waited to be found. His breathing was steady, voice calm as he called out softly, his words swallowed by the rubble and silence. Rex, his faithful German shepherd, sniffed the air, ears twitching at every distant sound. Suddenly, the dog's posture shifted, tail stiffening, head lowering. Marcus's heart tightened. The subtle change was a signal he had learned to trust implicitly. Rex had detected something beneath the rubble. Marcus knelt and began to clear away loose debris, careful not to disturb the fragile balance of the collapsed building. The dust billowed around him, stinging his eyes and throat, but he pressed on. A faint, desperate bark echoed from beneath the wreckage, sharp and urgent. His pulse quickened. It was Rex's voice, a cry from somewhere trapped, somewhere alive. "Rex!" Marcus called, scanning the chaos for any sign of his partner. But the dog was nowhere to be seen. Panic surged through him in a flash before he forced himself to focus. Rex was missing, separated by the collapse. The collar lying half buried in the dust was the only proof Marcus had that his partner was still alive nearby. Time was running out. The ground beneath his hands felt unstable, the structure groaning ominously as aftershocks rippled through harbor view. Marcus's training kicked in. He knew how to navigate the dangers of a collapsing building, but without Rex, the search was incomplete. The bond they shared was more than companionship. It was a lifeline that gave each of them strength and purpose. "Hold on, Rex," Marcus whispered, voice thick with determination. "I'm coming." The faint barking grew louder, a fragile thread weaving through the thick silence of the rubble. Marcus focused on the sound, the single beacon of hope amid the destruction. He moved carefully, each piece of debris shifted with precision, his hands steady despite the adrenaline coursing through his veins. Nearby, rescue workers coordinated efforts to stabilize the area, their voices echoing commands and reassurances. Marcus caught sight of Dr. Elena Cruz rushing toward him, her face etched with concern. In her arms, she carried a small bundle, a frightened cat rescued from a nearby collapsed home. "Elena," Marcus said sharply, eyes never leaving the direction of the barking. "Have you seen Rex?" She shook her head, urgency in her movements. "Not yet, but we're coordinating with other teams to find all missing animals. This is going to take everything we've got." Marcus nodded, then returned his attention to the debris. The barking was a lifeline, a signal that Rex was alive, but trapped. He crawled deeper into the rubble, the weight of broken wood and stone pressing down around him. The air was thick and stale, every breath a struggle, but he refused to stop. Suddenly, his fingers brushed against something familiar, a worn leather collar, partially buried in dust and splinters. Relief surged through him, tempered by the gravity of the situation. Rex was close, but still trapped somewhere beneath the wreckage. Marcus called out again, voice steady despite the fear gnawing at his insides. "Rex, stay with me, buddy. I'm coming." The barking grew louder, more frantic, as if Rex sensed his partner was near. Marcus's hands worked faster, clearing away the debris with renewed purpose. The ground trembled beneath him, a warning that the structure was unstable, that any wrong move could bring it all crashing down. Nearby, Liam Foster captured the tense scene on camera, his lens focused on Marcus's determined face as he navigated the perilous ruins. The footage was raw, unfiltered, the story of a man refusing to give up, a testament to loyalty and courage that resonated far beyond the broken streets of Harborview. As Marcus worked, Elena arrived with a team of animal rescue volunteers, their specialized equipment designed to assist in delicate operations. She handed Marcus a small flashlight and a radio, her voice low but steady. "We're here to help. Keep us posted." "Thanks, Elena," Marcus replied, his grip tightening around the flashlight. The beam cut through the dust, illuminating the dark crevices beneath the rubble. He spotted a narrow opening, just wide enough for a dog to squeeze through. The barking was coming from there. Carefully, Marcus maneuvered into position, signaling to the rescue team to steady the debris. The tension was palpable, every second a test of nerve and skill. With a final push, the team moved a heavy beam aside, revealing a small, trembling form cowering beneath. Rex's eyes met Marcus's, wide and filled with relief despite the dust and injuries. The German shepherd's body was weak but alive, a testament to his resilience and training. Marcus reached out, voice soft but firm. "I've got you, boy. We're getting you out of here." The rescue team worked swiftly, lifting Rex to safety as Marcus crawled out from the rubble, exhaustion washing over him in waves. Elena rushed forward to assess Rex's condition, her veterinary training taking over as she gently examined the dog for injuries. "Rex is dehydrated and has some scrapes, but he's going to be okay." Elena assured Marcus, her relief evident. "He's strong, thanks to you." Marcus sank onto a nearby pile of rubble, the weight of the day settling in his bones. The bond between him and Rex had been tested, pushed to its limits, but it had endured. The reunion was a beacon of hope amid the devastation, a reminder of the unbreakable loyalty between man and dog. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, casting long shadows over Harborview's fractured streets, Marcus knew the hardest work was still ahead. But for now, he held Rex close, drawing strength from the resilience embodied in his partner's eyes. The search for survivors would continue, the town's spirit unyielding despite the scars left by the earthquake. And in the quiet moments between chaos, Marcus found solace in the presence of Rex, a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope could still be heard in the faintest bark beneath the rubble. The twilight settled over Harborview as the frantic energy of the day gave way to a tentative calm. The shattered town still bore the scars of the earthquake's wrath. But amid the lingering dust and twisted metal, moments of hope began to flicker. Marcus Hayes sat on a makeshift bench near the edge of the damaged downtown district, cradling Rex gently in his arms. The loyal German shepherd, though battered and weary, exuded a quiet strength, his warm eyes meeting Marcus's with unspoken reassurance. The reunion had been a balm for both man and dog, but the work was far from over. Marcus knew the dangers that still lurked beneath the surface. Trapped survivors, injured animals, unstable structures ready to collapse. The aftershocks continued to ripple, a grim reminder that every second counted. As the last light faded, rescue workers arrived in greater numbers, their coordinated efforts transforming Harborview's fractured streets into a hub of organized chaos. Emergency vehicles lined the cracked roads, their flashing lights cutting through the gathering darkness. Teams of responders, volunteers, and specialists moved with purpose, eyes scanning for any sign of life. Marcus rose, supporting Rex carefully, as he approached a group gathered near the community center, which had been converted into a temporary command post. Among the crowd was Dr. Elena Cruz, her hands busy organizing supplies, but her gaze attentive. She looked up as Marcus approached, relief and determination mingling in her eyes. "Rex is stable," Marcus said quietly, setting the dog down on a soft blanket. "Thanks to you?" Elena smiled, brushing a stray lock of hair from her face. "He's a fighter, just like you." She glanced around, noting the growing number of volunteers and the hum of activity. "We're setting up animal triage stations around town. Many pets and strays are injured or scared. We need all the hands we can get." Before Marcus could respond, a sharp whistle cut through the air. Rescue Coordinator Captain Ramirez strode forward, clipboard in hand, barking orders with practiced authority. "We've got reports of survivors trapped in the collapsed library on Pine Street. Structural engineers say it's unstable, but we can't wait. Time is critical." Marcus exchanged a glance with Elena. "Rex and I will join the search team." Ramirez nodded approvingly. "We need your expertise. The building's a wreck, but the reports came from a man who heard cries inside. Could be a family." Quickly, a specialized search and rescue team assembled, equipped with heavy machinery, shoring equipment, and medical supplies. Marcus checked Rex's harness, ensuring the dog was ready for the mission ahead. The bond between them was evident. Rex's tail wagged cautiously, sensing the tension but trusting his partner implicitly. As they approached the library, the scene was grim. The building's facade had collapsed inward, pillars and beams twisted like broken bones. Dust swirled in the fading light, and the air carried a heavy scent of wood, concrete, and something more sinister: urgency. Marcus led the way, signaling to the crew as they began stabilizing the structure with hydraulic jacks and braces. The ground trembled beneath their feet as another aftershock rattled the town, causing nearby debris to shift ominously. The team froze, holding their breath until the tremors ceased. "Stay sharp," Marcus warned, voice low. "We don't know what's left standing." Rex moved ahead, nose to the ground, ears twitching as he searched for scents beneath the rubble. His training was evident, calm yet focused, a living radar for those trapped and in need. Suddenly, a faint whimper echoed from deep within the debris. Marcus's heart leapt. He knelt, shining his flashlight into a narrow gap where a small hand emerged, trembling and weak. "Help, please!" the voice called out, barely audible. The rescue team sprang into action, carefully widening the opening while reinforcing the surrounding beams. Marcus spoke softly, offering reassurance. "We're here. Hold on." As the hole expanded, a young mother and her 2 children appeared, dust-covered and frightened, but alive. Tears streamed down their faces as rescuers pulled them free, wrapping them in blankets and rushing them to awaiting medics. Elena was there to assess the children's injuries, her gentle hands soothing their panic as she checked for fractures and dehydration. "They're going to be okay," she assured Marcus, who stood nearby, relief washing over him. Liam Foster, the local journalist, captured every moment: the tension, the rescue, the raw emotion. His camera recorded the reunion, the hope sparked by a successful save amid devastation. The team continued their search long into the night, guided by Rex's keen senses and Marcus's unwavering determination. They found more survivors: elderly residents trapped beneath fallen beams, families huddled in darkened rooms, pets frightened and injured, but clinging to life. Each rescue was a beacon, a small victory in a town grappling with loss. The community rallied as news spread, volunteers arriving with food, water, and supplies. Local authorities coordinated with state and federal agencies, mobilizing resources to bolster the search and recovery efforts. Back at the command post, Marcus and Elena reviewed maps and reports, strategizing the next moves. "There's still so much ground to cover," Marcus said, exhaustion evident but resolve unbroken. Elena nodded. "And the animals need us just as much. Many are frightened, separated from their owners. We're setting up a dedicated rescue unit for them." Marcus glanced at Rex, who lay quietly nearby, alert despite the weariness in his eyes. Having Rex here makes all the difference. He's more than a search dog, he's a symbol of hope. As midnight approached, the town of Harborview remained on edge, but united. The earthquake had shattered buildings and lives, but it could not break the spirit of its people. Rescue efforts pressed on, guided by courage, compassion, and the unyielding bond between a man and his dog. Marcus took a moment outside the command post, the cool night air brushing against his face. The distant sound of waves crashing against the cliffs reminded him of why he had chosen this place. A home worth fighting for. Inside, the lights burned bright, a testament to the determination of those who refused to give up. Harborview was wounded, but not defeated. And as Marcus prepared for the next day's challenges, he carried with him the hope that every life saved, every animal rescued, was a step toward healing. The morning light filtered weakly through the smoky haze hanging over Harborview, casting a muted glow on the cracked streets and fractured rooftops. The town, battered but unbroken, was awakening to a new day, filled with urgency and determination. Word of the daring rescues and the brave efforts of Marcus Hayes and his canine partner, Rex, had spread rapidly, drawing volunteers and media from neighboring communities. Harborview was no longer just a town in distress. It had become a symbol of resilience. The influx of volunteers was palpable. People of all ages arrived, some with tools in hand, others bringing food, water, and blankets for those displaced. Local churches and community centers transformed into hubs for donations and shelter. Despite their own losses, the residents of Harborview opened their doors and hearts, embodying the spirit that had long defined their coastal home. Marcus stood near the temporary command post, watching as volunteers organized into teams, ready to assist in search and rescue, debris clearing, and support services. Rex sat obediently by his side, tail wagging gently as he greeted newcomers with the calm assurance that had become a beacon of hope for many. Nearby, Dr. Elena Cruz coordinated with a group of veterinary volunteers, setting up a makeshift triage area for injured animals. Cages, medical supplies, and blankets were arranged meticulously, and the sight of frightened pets being cared for brought a sense of normalcy amid chaos. "This is incredible," Elena said, her voice tinged with both exhaustion and gratitude as she turned to Marcus. "The community's response, people coming together like this, it's what's going to get us through." Marcus nodded, scanning the bustling scene. "It's more than that. The story of Rex and me, it's touched something deeper. People see that even in disaster, loyalty and courage endure." Word traveled swiftly, carried by social media and news outlets. Liam Foster's footage of Marcus and Rex rescuing trapped survivors had gone viral overnight, sparking a wave of support that brought resources and volunteers from far beyond Harborview's borders. Donations poured in: food, water, medical supplies, and equipment, turning the small town into a focal point for disaster relief. Local authorities worked tirelessly to coordinate with state and federal agencies. Emergency management teams arrived to assist in logistics, ensuring that aid reached those most in need. Harborview's mayor, standing among the crowds with a determined expression, addressed the growing assembly. "We are grateful for the outpouring of support," the mayor declared, voice firm despite the strain of the past days. "Together, we will rebuild. Together, we will heal." Amidst the organized chaos, Marcus found himself pulled into planning meetings and briefings. His military experience made him a natural leader, and the community looked to him for guidance. Yet, he remained grounded, focusing on the immediate needs, locating survivors, tending to the injured, and restoring a sense of safety. Elena approached with news from the animal rescue teams. "We've identified several areas where pets are trapped or injured. The teams are ready to move out once we have clearance from the search operations." Marcus nodded, his gaze steady. "Rex and I will join them. Animals are part of this community, and their rescue is just as critical." As the day unfolded, Marcus and Rex moved through neighborhoods, joining teams, clearing debris, and searching homes. Each discovery of a survivor or an animal in distress was met with relief and renewed hope. The town's spirit, though tested, remained unyielding. At one site, a family was reunited with their terrified dog, the animal's joyous barking echoing through the street as it leapt into their arms. Nearby, a group of volunteers cleared rubble to reach an elderly man trapped beneath a fallen porch. Marcus directed the effort, his voice calm and authoritative, ensuring safety amidst the urgency. Liam Foster, ever present with his camera, documented these moments. The smiles amid tears, the strength in community, the unbreakable bonds that surfaced in crisis. His footage continued to inspire viewers nationwide, prompting more volunteers and donations to flow toward Harborview. As evening approached, the town gathered in the central square, where a temporary stage was set, up for announcements and morale-boosting events. Marcus stood beside Elena and city officials, addressing the crowd. "We've made incredible progress," Marcus said, his voice carrying over the gathering. "But our work isn't done. Every life matters, human and animal alike. Together, we're proving that even in the face of disaster, hope prevails." Elena stepped forward, her eyes shining. "And every animal rescued is a reminder of our compassion and strength. We're committed to caring for these creatures and reuniting them with their families." The crowd erupted in applause, a collective affirmation of resilience and unity. Volunteers exchanged stories, shared meals, and offered support, weaving a tapestry of solidarity that would fortify Harborview in the days ahead. As night fell, Marcus returned to the makeshift shelter where Rex lay resting, the dog's steady breathing a comforting rhythm in the quiet. The challenges ahead were daunting, but the community's spirit had been rekindled by acts of bravery and kindness. Harborview was more than a town battered by an earthquake. It was a beacon of hope, a testament to the strength found in unity and the enduring bonds between people and their loyal companions. And as Marcus prepared for another day of search and rescue, he carried with him the unwavering belief that together they would overcome. The morning sun rose over Harborview, casting a golden glow across the battered town, a fragile light that seemed to promise renewal amid the rubble. The air was thick with anticipation and the hum of activity as rescue teams prepared for a critical operation. Today's mission centered on a collapsed residential complex where Rex's keen senses had pinpointed faint but persistent barking beneath a tangled mound of debris. Marcus stood at the edge of the site, scanning the chaotic scene. Heavy machinery rumbled nearby, crews worked feverishly to shore up unstable structures, and volunteers moved with practiced urgency. Despite the exhaustion etched on every face, a collective determination energized the crowd. This was more than a rescue. It was a lifeline for those still trapped, a beacon of hope for Harborview's battered spirit. Rex sat alert beside Marcus, his nose twitching as he focused on the sounds beneath the rubble. The German shepherd's training had been put to the ultimate test since the earthquake struck, and his resilience mirrored that of the town itself. Marcus met Rex's steady gaze and nodded, a silent exchange that spoke volumes about their unbreakable bond. "All right, team," Marcus called out, his voice carrying authority tempered by calm. "We've located the source of the barking. Structural engineers have cleared the area for a cautious approach. Let's proceed carefully and keep communication tight." The team moved as one, workers peeling back layers of concrete and twisted steel with delicate precision. Marcus led the way, his hands steady as he guided the removal of debris, mindful of the fragile balance that could shift with a single misstep. Rex remained close, ears perked, alert for the faintest sounds of life. As the pile shifted, a faint whimper emerged, a fragile sound that sliced through the tense silence like a lifeline. Marcus's heart quickened. He crouched, shining his flashlight into a narrow opening where two small figures huddled together, eyes wide with fear but alive. "Hang on," Marcus whispered, voice soft yet resolute. "We've got you." The rescue team worked in unison, carefully widening the opening while stabilizing the surrounding rubble. The trapped victims, a mother and her young daughter, were cold and shaken, but their spirits remained unbroken. As they were gently lifted to safety, Elena Cruz rushed forward, her veterinary expertise on standby to tend to a small, trembling dog nestled beside them. Elena's hands moved quickly, yet tenderly, assessing the dog's injuries and offering soothing words. "He's scared, but otherwise healthy. A fighter, just like his humans." Marcus watched the reunion with a mix of relief and pride. Each life saved was a triumph against the devastation, a testament to the power of teamwork and unwavering resolve. The scene was captured by Liam Foster's camera, the footage destined to inspire countless others beyond Harborview's borders. As the day progressed, the team continued their search, guided by Rex's relentless determination and Marcus's steady leadership. More survivors emerged from the rubble, elderly neighbors, families, and pets, all bearing stories of survival and hope. The community's spirit grew stronger with each rescue, their collective heartbeat pulsing with renewed life. Yet, nature's fury was not done. Mid-afternoon brought a sudden aftershock, a tremor that rattled the ground and sent dust cascading from unstable structures. Tension gripped the rescue site as alarms blared and workers scrambled to safety. Marcus's voice cut through the chaos, commanding calm. Everyone, fall back to safe zones. Maintain communication and stay alert. The aftershock tested the team's resilience, but their training and preparation prevailed. No lives were lost, and the operation resumed with heightened caution. Marcus's calm under pressure steadied those around him, reinforcing the strength that had carried Harborview this far. As dusk approached, the rescue efforts culminated in a final push. Marcus coordinated with engineers and volunteers, orchestrating the delicate removal of debris to reach survivors reported in a nearby collapsed structure. Rex led the search, his sharp senses guiding the team through the shifting maze of rubble. At last, voices called out from beneath a fallen beam, trapped but alive. Marcus and the team worked feverishly, stabilizing the structure and freeing the last group of survivors, their faces etched with exhaustion and gratitude. The day's efforts concluded with a gathering at the command post, where Marcus, Elena, and Liam shared updates with the growing community. The rescues of the day were celebrated, but the work ahead remained daunting. Harborview's recovery was just beginning, and every step forward was hard-won. In the quiet moments that followed, Marcus sat beside Rex, the bond between them deepened by shared trials. The dog's gentle panting was a steady rhythm in the night, a reminder of the loyalty and courage that defined their journey. Harborview had faced nature's wrath and emerged with a spirit unbroken, through teamwork, perseverance, and the unyielding bond of man and dog. The town found hope amid the ruins. Hope that would carry them toward healing and renewal in the days to come. The early morning haze clung stubbornly to Harborview as the rescue teams gathered once more, their faces etched with fatigue but burning with resolve. The earthquake's relentless grip had tested every ounce of endurance the town and its people possessed. Yet the spirit of survival and unity remained unshaken. Marcus Hayes stood at the forefront, his steady gaze sweeping over the team, assembled for another critical search operation. Rex, alert and ever vigilant, paced beside him, his sharp senses attuned to the whispers of life beneath the rubble. The bond between them was palpable, a shared mission fueled by loyalty and unyielding determination. Today's objective was daunting: to navigate the treacherous remains of a collapsed apartment block, rumored to still harbor trapped survivors. As the team prepared to enter the unstable site, a sudden tremor rippled through the ground. An aftershock, fierce and unexpected, shook the earth beneath their feet. Dust plumed into the air, and the rubble groaned ominously. The team froze, hearts pounding in the charged silence that followed. Marcus's voice cut through the tension, calm yet commanding. "Stay focused and move carefully. We've trained for this. No one moves until I say." Every second stretched taut with danger as the aftershock tested the fragile balance of the disaster zone. The team's discipline held firm, a testament to their training and Marcus's leadership. As the tremors subsided, he signaled the all clear, and the search resumed with heightened caution. Inside the collapsed structure, beams and concrete lay twisted and broken, creating a labyrinth of hazards. Marcus led the way, his eyes sharp, hands steady as he navigated the precarious terrain. Rex moved ahead, nose to the ground, ears twitching at every faint sound. Suddenly, a faint voice echoed from beneath a fallen beam, a cry for help, weak but unmistakable. Marcus's heart surged. "We've got survivors," he called, urgency threading his words. The team converged on the location, carefully clearing debris while ensuring the stability of the surrounding structure. The trapped individuals, a family of 3, were discovered, huddled together, exhausted but alive. Tears mingled with dust on their faces as his rescuers pulled them free, wrapping them in warm blankets and offering water. But the rescue was far from over. The aftershock had worsened the site's instability, forcing the team to act quickly yet methodically. Marcus's calm direction was crucial, guiding the delicate operation as they navigated the dangers. With the family safe, Marcus gathered the team. "We need to move out, now. Another aftershock could strike at any moment." As they retreated, the earth trembled again, a shudder that rattled bones and nerves. The team responded swiftly, retreating to safer ground under Marcus's watchful eye. No one was left behind. Outside, the reunited family was tended to by medics, their gratitude evident in tearful embraces and whispered thanks. Rex rested nearby, his watchful eyes reflecting the relief and hope that had come from another successful rescue. The day wore on, and the aftershocks persisted, each testing the resolve of rescuers and survivors alike. Yet, amidst the uncertainty, Marcus's steady leadership anchored the efforts. He coordinated with engineers and volunteers, ensuring that safety protocols were followed and that every possible survivor was accounted for. The resilience of Harborview shone through every challenge. Volunteers continued to clear debris, distribute supplies, and offer comfort. Elena crews worked tirelessly, tending to injured animals and providing solace to their owners. Liam Foster's camera captured the raw emotion and determination, broadcasting the story of a community refusing to be broken. As night fell, Marcus and Rex returned to the command post, exhaustion heavy but spirits unbowed. The dog's steady breathing was a reminder of the partnership that had carried them through the darkest hours. Harborview faced an uncertain road ahead, but with courage, faith, and unity, its people stood ready to rebuild. The triumphs of the day were victories not just over the earthquake's destruction, but over fear and despair. And through it all, Marcus, Rex, and the community forged a bond stronger than any quake, a bond destined to carry them toward a brighter future. The first light of dawn stretched over Harborview, casting a soft glow on a town slowly stirring from the chaos that had gripped it for days. The scars of the earthquake remained visible: cracked roads, toppled buildings, and piles of rubble. But amid the destruction, a new spirit had taken root. The community was beginning to heal, not just in body but in soul. At the heart of this transformation was the emergence of a memorial, a humble yet poignant tribute to those lost and the heroes who had risked everything to save lives. Situated near the lakeside park, the memorial was a simple stone monument etched with names and symbols of hope. Flowers and candles surrounded it, placed by grieving families and grateful neighbors alike. Marcus Hayes stood silently before the monument, his thoughts heavy with the memories of the past days. Beside him, Rex sat patiently, his attentive eyes reflecting the quiet respect of the moment. The bond between them had only deepened through the trials, a testament to loyalty and perseverance. Nearby, Dr. Elena Cruz was busy overseeing the opening of a new animal rescue center dedicated to disaster response. The facility was modest but well-equipped, a sanctuary for injured and displaced animals, staffed by volunteers passionate about providing care in times of crisis. Elena's vision had taken shape rapidly, fueled by the overwhelming need witnessed during the earthquake's aftermath. "This center will be a lifeline," Elena said, her voice filled with hope as she addressed a small gathering of supporters. "Animals are family, and their safety is essential to our community's recovery." Marcus nodded in agreement, aware of how many lives had been touched by the rescue efforts. "It's a reminder that healing comes in many forms," he added, "for people and the creatures we care for." The town's recovery was bolstered by ongoing media attention, thanks in large part to Liam Foster's tireless documentation. His footage had captured not only the devastation, but the resilience and unity that defined Harborview's response. Stories of courage, sacrifice, and compassion had resonated far beyond the town's borders, bringing donations and volunteers eager to assist. At the local community center, now serving as a hub for reconstruction efforts, town leaders and federal agents convened to coordinate rebuilding plans. Transparency and integrity were paramount, lessons hard-earned from the disaster and its aftermath. Marcus found himself increasingly involved, lending his leadership skills and first-hand experience to the effort. The community spirit was palpable as neighbors worked side by side, clearing debris, repairing homes, and sharing resources. Children played cautiously among the safe zones, their laughter a fragile but vital sound in the healing landscape. Harborview was reclaiming itself, piece by piece. In the evenings, gatherings at the lakeside became a space for reflection and connection. Stories were shared, memories honored, and plans made for the future. Marcus and Rex often joined these moments, their presence a steady comfort amid uncertainty. One such evening, Evelyn Thorne, a local resident moved by the town's resilience, approached Marcus. "Your leadership has been a beacon for all of us," she said softly. "Harborview is lucky to have you." Marcus smiled humbly. "It's the people who make this town strong. We're all in this together." As the weeks passed, Harborview continued its journey from devastation to renewal. The memorial stood as a solemn reminder of loss and sacrifice, while the Animal Rescue Center became a symbol of compassion and hope. The community's resolve was unwavering, fueled by the bonds forged in adversity. Marcus, Elena, Liam, and the countless volunteers embodied the spirit of Harborview, a spirit that refused to be broken. Their stories intertwined, creating a tapestry of courage and unity that would inspire generations to come. And as the sun set over the lake, its golden hues reflecting on the calm waters, Harborview looked toward a future shaped by healing, faith, and the enduring strength of its people and their loyal companions. The gentle lapping of lake waters against the shore was a soothing counterpoint to the long journey Harborview had endured. Marcus Hayes stood on the deck of his modest lake house, the very home he'd chosen as a refuge and a fresh start before disaster struck. The cool evening breeze carried the scent of pine and salt, a reminder of the rugged beauty that had first drawn him to this place. Beside him, Rex settled quietly, eyes scanning the horizon with the same calm vigilance that had seen them through so much. The town below was alive with quiet activity. Neighbors repairing fences, children playing near the water's edge, and the soft glow of porch lights signaling the steady return of normalcy. Harborview was healing, its wounds still visible, but its spirit unbroken. Marcus breathed deeply, the weight of recent months settling into a profound sense of purpose and peace. His journey had been one of trials and triumphs, shaped by the unwavering bond he shared with Rex and the community that had embraced him. The earthquake had tested their limits, but it had also revealed the depths of courage, loyalty, and resilience within them all. Marcus reflected on the faces that had become part of his new family. The determined veterinarian Elena Cruz, whose compassion extended to every injured creature. Liam Foster, the journalist whose lens captured the heart of their struggle. And the countless volunteers whose selflessness had fueled the recovery. Together, they had forged a path from chaos to hope. He glanced down at Rex, who met his gaze with a quiet understanding. The dog had been more than a partner in search and rescue missions. He had been a symbol of steadfast loyalty and courage. Their connection was a living testament to the strength found in companionship. As twilight deepened, Marcus turned away from the lake and made his way inside, where the warmth of the hearth awaited. Photos and mementos of the town's journey adorned the walls, snapshots of rescues, community gatherings, and moments of quiet reflection. Each image told a story of perseverance and faith. Sitting by the fire, Marcus allowed himself a rare moment of stillness. His thoughts drifted to the lessons learned, the importance of community, the power of resilience, and the unbreakable bonds that carry people through the darkest times. Harborview had become more than a place. It was a testament to what could be achieved when hearts and hands united. Outside, the night sky stretched vast and clear, stars twinkling like distant promises. Marcus rose and stepped back onto the porch, the cool air a balm against his skin. He looked up at the constellations, feeling a deep connection to the world beyond and the journey yet to come. In Harborview, life was moving forward, slowly, deliberately, with hope as its compass. Marcus and Rex, bound by loyalty and purpose, would remain at the heart of that journey, guiding their community toward a future defined not by disaster, but by courage, faith, and the enduring strength found in togetherness. The story of Harborview was far from over. It was a story of survival, of healing, and above all, of the unyielding spirit that rises when people refuse to surrender to despair. And in the quiet companionship of a man and his dog, that spirit found its truest expression. Steadfast, hopeful, and ready to face whatever lay ahead.